Hello, I'm Henry Keane, UATV, and you are welcome to the News Pulse. Today in the episode, Feodosia oil depot keeps burning for 3 days in a row and Russians just can't do anything about it. Further Ukrainian strikes are coming. 7 more NATO countries will join PURL, PURL initiative to fund weapons for Ukraine. Test your drones in Ukraine and get training included, Ukraine's drone strategy. Being 1,400 kilometers from Ukraine, the Bashneft oil refinery was targeted on October 15th by Ukrainian Lyuty, Fury in English, drones seen on footages shot by local residents. The video shows drones flying in the sky over a populated area as well as a plume of black smoke rising above the site of the strike. The Bashneft oil refinery has already been targeted by drones several times, most recently on October 11th when it was hit by long-range drones of the Security Service of Ukraine. The city of Ufa in Russia is one of Russia's largest oil refining centers and suppliers. Russian occupiers get the fuel and technical lubricants from there. On the night of October 15th, Ukrainian drones also targeted an oil refinery in the Russian city of Volgograd. A fire broke out. Meanwhile, the region's governor, Andrei Bachayev, claimed that UAV attack was allegedly repelled completely. However, as can be seen, obviously the oil refinery is burning quite not allegedly. The Ministry of Defense of the aggressor state of Russia confirms that its air defense systems had shot down 59 drones overnight. Well, obviously not enough. Russia is ablaze, literally. This time in Feodosia, in the temporarily occupied peninsula of Crimea, the fire that broke out after the drone attack on October 13th still has not been extinguished. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 16 fuel tanks at the Feodosia Marine Oil Terminal, the ones that had survived the previous strike on October 6th, were now successfully targeted on 13th. The oil terminal in Feodosia is a key logistic and supply hub for Russian troops for fuel and lubricants as well. The total volume of petroleum products that have been stored in these tanks is over 190,000 cubic meters. As seen in recent months, Ukraine has intensified its drone and missile attacks on Russian oil refineries, pumping stations and electrical substations, seeking to weaken Moscow's energy base that fuels its war effort. Satellite imagery, including data from views from above, shows large-scale fires and visible damage to equipment at several key facilities. According to reports from several Western media outlets, Ukraine's operations against Russian energy infrastructure are being conducted with the involvement of partner intelligence services. Publications such as the Financial Times, for example, note that the coordination and exchange of intelligence have enabled Kyiv to carry out deeper and more precise strikes inside Russian territory. In September and October, Kyiv reported successful attacks on major oil refineries in the cities of Kirish, Orsk and Ufa. The strikes triggered large fires, damaged key processing lines and significantly reduced Russia's refining capacity. The resulting disruption has created logistical and production challenges for Russia's oil industry and reduced the revenues that finance its military operations in Ukraine. The impact of Western sanctions has further complicated Moscow's ability to replace damaged components and equipment, deepening the strain on the energy sector. Consequently, fuel shortages have emerged in several Russian regions, prompting local authorities to limit fuel sales, even including in the annexed Crimea, for example, to just a few liters per customer. And the tactic is working. Really, Russia's seaborne exports of oil products in September alone dropped by 17% compared to August, according to industry sources and Reuters calculations. The reason is a decrease in fuel production, as a number of Russian oil refineries have been significantly damaged by drone attacks. Prioritized Ukraine requirements list. PURL program. As many as 7 countries will join it to purchase American weapons at the bloc's allies' expense for the needs of the Ukrainian armed forces.
PURL is the new program which we launched only in August. The program under which the United States again provides Ukraine with the necessary lethal and non-lethal military support, paid for by NATO allies, has already allocated over $2 billion, and I have every reason to believe that many other countries will join today. NATO, Secretary General Mark Rutte at NATO Defense Ministers meeting in Brussels.
The PURL mechanism is a joint US-NATO program aimed at speeding up weapons deliveries to Ukraine. It is under this initiative that Kyiv compiles a list of its most urgent weapons needs and submits it to the Allies. Partners fund the purchase of US-made weapons that meet this request. The money is then transferred to a special account within NATO. After that, the United States carries out direct arms deliveries to Ukraine. For now, it is known that Denmark, for example, allocated about 580 million Danish kroner for this program. Sweden $275 million, and Norway about $135 million. Previously, the Netherlands funded the first aid package within PURL program for €500 million. Germany is now also joining the program. Here's a footage combat video from near Rusin Yar, Kramatorsk sector, Donetsk region, showing what the Ukrainian army is actually capable of with simple FPV drones. A Russian armored assault is completely stopped. Russian forces have recently changed, or better said, changed back their tactics, switching from waves of infantry back to armored assault attempts in several areas of the front line. On Wednesday, October 15, 2025, the United Kingdom and Germany will convene the meeting of Contact Group on Defense Issues of Ukraine at NATO headquarters, the so-called Ramstein format. In a shortcut to what PURL and Ramstein are actually all about, Mr. Secretary of War has put it in the most straightforward way.
Great to be here, and Mark mentioned it, firepower. That's what is coming, we expect and is coming from NATO. And it was a historic summit just a couple of months ago, brought about by leadership of President Trump to say we need our allies to step up. And they did, and they have, in those commitments. Now those commitments will soon translate into capabilities, which is the most important aspect of it.
Mini death machines, homegrown labs, and boot camp pilots, all born in a country at war, Ukraine. With hundreds of drone schools, dozens of manufacturers, and thousands of trained operators, Ukraine is becoming a global force in unmanned tech. Now, Ukrainian experts are teaming up with Europe to take this revolution even further. More in our exclusive story for you.
Ukraine is building a new drone technology ecosystem. According to the Minister of Digital Transformation, the market is growing fast. Dozens of manufacturers, private schools, and training centers are appearing.
We are turning into a defense tech valley. This could become a new national profession, something we will be useful for after the war, a sector that will raise our GDP and that we will develop further.
Drone work is now permanent in specialized units. One such unit is the Separate Detachment Lasars Group. Their tasks are reconnaissance, surveillance, and precision strikes.
After each sortie, a pilot draws conclusions. He analyzes how the battlefield changes, what suppression the enemy uses, what tactics they apply. On the next flight, the pilot acts differently. This lets us run large operations, score big successes, and hit lots of enemy equipment.
In some units, drones are now a primary tactical weapon. For example, the Rayrog Regiment not only uses drones, but also develops tactics for them.
We don't talk much about our work. We show it by what we do. Our priority is effectiveness. If we set a goal to eliminate a certain number of enemy personnel, we do it. That is our best praise and achievement.
Drone operation requires training. Courses last from a few days to several weeks, depending on the platform. Training runs in many units, including the 3rd Assault Brigade.
The Academy has about 4,000 students graduated in just over a year. About 30% have joined the Defense Forces, and another 30% moved into the armed forces from other sectors. Our courses cover ground robotic systems, fixed-wing and FPV drones, piloting and engineering.
Drone pilot courses mix theory and practice, from setup to real flight tasks. Schools teach theory, use simulators, and run flights on open ranges under experienced instructors.
Training time is roughly the same for complete beginners and those with some experience. The difference is that instructors must find the right approach for someone with no prior skills. That is our main task.
According to the Ministry of Digital Transformation, hundreds of UAV schools, dozens of manufacturers, and thousands of operators already work in Ukraine. Drone production in Ukraine has grown 100-fold. Now Kyiv is ready to share its experience with European countries. In Denmark, Ukrainian specialists began exercises on countering strike UAVs. Poland also receives Ukrainian help in training military and engineers on counter-drone measures. Additionally, Ukraine and Norway are launching a €20 million program to develop Ukrainian and Norwegian defense technologies. Yulia Bil, Vadim Dmitriev, from Lviv, UATV News.
Well, that seems pretty much to be it for today. I'm Henry Key, and thank you for standing with Ukraine. Please subscribe to our channel to stay tuned to what is happening in the world as seen from the Ukrainian perspective, of course presented to you by us, UATV. Thank you. Goodbye.